Hey everyone, Irit here, and I have a new process video for pink and paper. So I am creating this month 2 layouts using the Crate Paper Here+There collection. It's a travel themed collection, and as you can see, this is a very sped up version of the process, and you will see here the entire process. But if you're interested in real-time scrapbooking, where I explain to you everything that I'm doing as I'm doing it, you can check out my Patreon and you will get this exact process but in real time. And I have to say, it was really fun to create this, and you really see how everything happens, because I mostly don't have any preconceived ideas when I start a layout, and yeah, so I just figure it out as I go along. Now, the photos that I'm using, it's actually really nice. You know, sometimes it's really fun to grab maybe a more themed collection, even though I think there are a lot of bits and pieces in this collection that can be used for any type of scrapbook, like any type of photo documenting whatever you want. But yeah, some of it is definitely more travel themed, and I tend to mostly scrapbook our daily life now, which unfortunately doesn't include much traveling. And it was really nice to have this opportunity to pull out some older photos. Now, they're not so old, it's still post-kids situation. I think it was just, I think Lily was not born yet. I'm not sure. I probably should have checked when I took these photos, but I think it was before Lily was born, and we left Ella with my parents, and we went to Tel Aviv for a couple of days while we were visiting Israel, of course. So yeah, it was just the two of us for like 24 hours or something, and of course it was amazing. So yeah, and we were just walking around Tel Aviv. It was summer, it was blistering hot, but if you have kids, you can probably relate that, you know, when you only have yourself to look after and take care of, and, you know, you can actually like eat when you're hungry and sit down when you want to, and all those amazing things. So nothing really bothered us. But anyway, we were walking around and I saw this very pretty tiled wall, and of course I made Adi take pictures. So his picture is actually, of course, he didn't really want to take a picture, but I was just checking where he should stand when he's taking my picture. I'm very trusting. And oh yeah, I was just showing you that my white pen, I've been searching for that white Posca pen for like days, and then I finally found out it was stuck to my trimmer, and that's why I couldn't find it on my desk. So I discovered that. Yeah, so anyway, I was taking his photo just to show him how he should take my photo, and then he took my photo. And he was making these funny poses, and somehow the way that I ended up designing this layout, it kind of looks like, hey, look at me. And like he's gesturing in my direction, and I'm doing like a pose there. So I don't know, I think I was just I'm not even sure I ever scrapped these photos, but I totally made them so I would have a pretty photo to scrapbook, you know, even though it was also a good topic to scrapbook, our little getaway. So and it's nice, you know, whenever we visit Israel, and if Adi and I get a chance to go to Tel Aviv a bit, then we can feel like tourists. And there's something nice about being a tourist in your homeland, because, you know, you kind of know everything and you speak the language and it's really easy. But there's this freedom that only comes when you are visiting, you know, as a tourist. and it's not actually the place where you live and work. So yeah, that's the explanation about these photos. So I decided to cut these in a circle shape. I'm all about the circles these days. I've had circles in my February, in my 2 projects for February, and it's just such a nice element to work with. Oh, and I should mention, I'm such a bad design team member. So I am also hosting or introducing the March challenge, and I created a tic-tac-toe type of challenge featuring stuff that I used on my layout, but of course you can create any type of project you want, and you really want to participate in this challenge, because you will get, if you win, you will get a fantastic gift, and I think also a guest design spot. So you should totally check it out. I will leave the link to the blog post where you can get all the details, and I hope you will participate. So also another reason that I really like designing with these collections, I usually use kits, and I usually not usually, but I use a lot of white cardstock, and I use mixed media. But for this design team, because it's more focused on collections as opposed to kits, I really want to kind of feature the goodies in the collections. So I tend to use, at least in my 3 projects till now, only pattern papers for backgrounds and no mixed media until now, at least. So if you like using pattern papers and you don't do a lot of mixed media, then you should definitely follow my projects for pink and paper, because they are more focused on those items like pattern paper. And yeah, I have to say, I used to scrapbook with a lot more patterns. I learned so much from Shamel and Tracy Banks, and just learned a lot from them. And one of the things I really enjoyed was the way that they worked with pattern papers. So I used to do that a lot, and then I kind of started doing a lot of mixed media, and then I tend to use more white cardstock just because everything, I don't know, it just makes more sense most of the time for me to use white cardstock with a lot of colors and mixed media and that sort of thing. So it's fun to kind of go back to using pattern papers. I love pattern papers, and it's just a lot of fun to play with them. So my basic design now is kind of in place. Those pattern papers, the big papers, and the photos, I want to say. Sorry. So now I'm thinking about my title, where I'm going to place it, how I'm going to place it. I have this fantastic thickers. Yeah, I guess these are thickers from the Here+There collection, and I love these. There's like a variety of different fonts and icons, and it's just fantastic. So again, if you want to see all the items that I'm working with this month, check out the kind of collection haul or unboxing video, and I show you everything that I got. So I thought about using that word adventure, kind of going in that circular shape. I think that looked really good. I think the reason I decided not to go with it is that I felt it was just a little bit too big in comparison to my photos. So I felt it was just a little bit too distracting. I think maybe if I used less pattern papers, or there was like less going on, then I could have gotten away with it. But for this particular design, the way I had things there, it was just, I felt it was a bit much. I don't know, now that I see it on screen, I kind of like it. But yeah. So I'm going to go with that title. So it says vacay, and I kind of placed it across the photos. I think it brings them together in a nice way, kind of creates this continuity and a nice flow to the whole thing. And yeah, again, this was like so much fun to make. Just, I think it's because it was such a happy memory, you know. I think that definitely helped with enjoying this. And yeah, now I opened, once I have my title down, I started to think about embellishing, and I really love that little ephemera piece that has those 3 kind of airplane windows. So cute, but I don't know, I couldn't make it work. It wasn't working for me. I do like the placement next to my photo there. Not like that. Not like that, like that. I kind of like that, but I don't know why I decided not to go with it. I think it looks good now, but now it's not relevant. So I also wanted to add a little bit of pop of some more pink on a different place in my layout, because I have some of the pink pattern paper behind my photos. So I just cut a piece of that pink die cut and added it between the black and white pattern papers, and it gives like this nice separation between them. So I also like how that looks, and of course the great texture of that kind of notebook look, which you can also get with a punch if you don't have this ephemera, or if you're just working with different supplies but still want that texture. So at this point I realized, hey, I can tuck a bunch of stuff behind the photos, and that would be cute, and that's basically what I'm going to end up doing. But I played a lot with it, and I usually, when I scrapbook for not for design teams, let's say it like that, although most of what I scrapbook is either for design team or for classes. So yeah, it's all, I mean that I want to make it kind of as good as possible, but probably if I wasn't making layouts for design teams, I wouldn't think so much about every little bit and where it goes. So yeah, that's it's because I want it to be the best that I can design wise, that I kind of take my time and move things around and hesitate. But I think there was maybe some extra hesitation here, and I think some of it has to do, it's a combination of using supplies that are new to me and also using a lot of pattern papers and kind of just a design that is not one of my usual go-to designs. So having all these pattern papers and then the circles and all that stuff, it's just a bit different to work with. So it took me some time to get things to look the way that I like them looking. And yeah, but it was all fun, and actually recording it real time and, you know, talking myself through it, I guess, and explaining why I'm putting things here and why I'm moving things around and why I don't like this and why I do like that, was also kind of fun for me and enjoyable. And yeah, what can I say? You know, playing with pretty supplies. What's not fun about that? So the whole thing took about an hour, I think, which for me, for a layout that doesn't have mixed media in it, so, you know, no drying time and layers and all that, it's kind of more longer than my usual, like a lot longer than my usual. I'm probably around, usually most of the time, between half an hour and 40 minutes per layout. But this one took a while, and you can see there's a lot of fussing. But I always love to include everything. I know people also enjoy seeing that, to know that they are not the only ones hesitating. So don't worry, it's all good as long as you're enjoying the process. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just take your time. And I also added these gorgeous kind of embossed puffy stickers. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. I wish I had tons of these in just different designs. And I'm going to use a few of them here. So there's a really pretty arrow that I'm going to use on our photos. There's an adorable bag and the airplane. Yes, I'm going to use the airplane just because it's so cute. And that's the chipboard piece, so I'm bringing it out. There are a lot of big pieces in the chipboard sheet, and a few of them make it also to this layout. I'm going to use the suitcase. There's an adorable suitcase that has a very similar color to my dress. And I have to say that after all the fussing and moving things around and filming everything, and then I decided, okay, that's it, I stuck down that suitcase and it made it to the finished page. So yeah, sometimes things work like that. Again, I'm fussing. I don't know, I just wanted things to be just right, and I wanted to try all kinds of things until it looked exactly the way I wanted it to be. So this thought that I had was that this whole, you know, those black and white patterns like going across the page, they kind of reminded me of, you know, like a pouch where you would put your, I don't know, boarding ticket and passport maybe, and then maybe some ephemera stuff. And that kind of gave me that idea of like having all kinds of things peek from behind that, and I was just playing around forever until it looked the way I wanted. So I also found that cute, I think it's a die cut that also had a suitcase shape to it, and I thought that was a nice element to include since I already have the puffy sticker with the whole suitcase thing. So yeah. Now I thought, okay, what happened if I added all these tags? And they're not going to stay there because that was just starting to be a bit too much. And I still wanted the focus to be the photos and not get too heavy on, you know, adding a bunch of things. But what can I say? I really, really enjoyed it. And eventually I made a decision. So this collection, it's a little bit out of my comfort zone, and just, you know, color wise and pattern wise, I usually like very bright light colors, let's say more on the cutesy side, and this feels a little bit more serious, a little bit, I don't know, it has just a different vibe to it, but I loved making with it. And I hope you enjoyed this video and feel inspired. Thanks for watching, and check out the challenge. Bye.